today's video, we are going to be talking about the main reason why you think, listen to the keyword, you think you're not enough. Okay? Not because you aren't, is what you think. Now I'm going to give you a quote by Marcus Aurelius that it really sprung out to me when I read it, and it had to do with this video. So the quote says, "Don't you see how much you have to offer, and yet you settle for less?" Oftentimes, when you're unknown of your value, oftentimes when you're unknown of the value you hold and what you have to offer, you settle for mediocrity. And yet you know you can do so much better. You have that feeling inside that you can do so much more. And in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, and some practical steps that you can do, and the main reason why self-doubt just creeps in for no reason. But you might say, Marcus Aurelius was a great emperor, and he had all this wealth and had it basically all. And basically had it all. Well, that's you might think that, but you have to think about the part that he wasn't born an emperor. He became an emperor. You know, he went through trials and tribulations. He had to become worthy of being an emperor. Through hardships, hard work. And that's how he became of his wisdom, not because he became an emperor, but the lessons he learned throughout that journey to become an emperor. Same thing goes for Gideon, a guy in the Bible, where Gideon was just a regular civilian. Let's just say that he was just a regular civilian, just like us. Now, when you think about these stories about like crazy emperors or the ones that have conquered a lot of land or historical figures, you notice a pattern that almost all of them weren't born that type of person. They became that type of person, you know, through the hardship and through all that work that they had to do to become that person. Gideon finally defeated the Midianites that had been just agonizing and tearing down his place, his town. And when God was thinking about choosing a person to lead that army and finally put an end to the Midianites taking over their land and taking the crops, he chose Gideon. Now, Gideon was just a regular guy, like I explained earlier, just like us. And apparently he had a lot of self-doubt when God chose him. He thought he wasn't worthy enough of being one. So he became so anxious and fearful, he went to a wine cellar to cope with the pain and the self-doubt and just to sit there. And that's when God had an encounter with him, or sent an angel over there. And I'm not gonna give you what he said yet, because what he said is what's going to help you finally grasp the reason to why you're not enough, why you think you're not enough. Scratch that. Why you think you're not enough. Now, actionable step. Get your pen and paper, because this is going to be important. Okay, this is almost life-changing advice. Now, you may hear that term a lot, but self-doubt is a critical thing that this generation struggles with. So get that pen and paper or your notes app in your phone. so you can take notes and look at it later, or potentially help somebody that's struggling with the same thing. Now, what you've been waiting for, the main reason why you think you are not enough, is because you get your self worth or even identity from the wrong things. For example, the way you dress, the way you others perceive you, not the way you perceive yourself, the way others perceive you. Criticism, or for us boys or men, how many girls like you in school or work or whatever. And then you get caught up with all this nonsense and tie your self-worth into all of this. And since other people's opinions can change over you over time, just like you change your opinion about others consistently or almost all the time, the same thing is gonna happen with them. And you're gonna start to have self-doubt and be like, I'm not enough for them, I'm not enough to hang out with that group, I'm not enough for that girl, or I'm not enough to stem for greatness. And the solution to stop all this asinine and this poisoning your soul with just the incorrect beliefs about yourself is to simply believing in standing on what God says about you. It's that simple. Now, I'm going to uncover what the angel said to Gideon. So in Judges 6:12, it says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto Gideon, and said unto him, The Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor." Now, I want you to just meditate on that scripture a bit and think about it, because you remember earlier when I said Gideon thought he wasn't enough, he wasn't strong enough, he wasn't a leader, a worthy leader, or he was where he couldn't lead anybody. Well, God says otherwise. God saw in Gideon what nobody else saw in him. He saw a man of valor, a man of strength, a brave man, a leader. That's what he saw in him. And now, that's what I'm telling you, that you need to get your self-worth from God and what he says about you, not what other people say about you, because that's ever changing. You know, they're gonna like you because you might have money, they might like you because the way you talk to me, the way you probably give them stuff, you probably give them food or whatnot. And we all know God's not like that. God is a man of his word. Now, you might be thinking, how in the world am I supposed to apply this? Because obviously we're here talking about a Bible story or whatever, Marcus Aurelius. You're trying to apply it to real life. That's why you came here, obviously. Well, there's a few steps, not that hard. There's 4 key steps that's going to get you to get confidence in yourself and see your actual worth. Number 1 is keeping your word as a man. When you keep your word and you act on it and you fulfill that word, other people are going to catch up and they're going to see that. When you do that, you're going to see, you're gonna respect yourself more. You're gonna be like, wow, I actually did what I said I was going to do. That's part of being a man. Now, daily affirmations and saying them out loud, that's not hard at all. It's pretty easy, honestly. You just get a journal. If you don't have one, just type it in your notes app. But I would recommend you get a journal, because writing it is just so much more effective. I don't know the science behind it, but it's really effective. Like daily affirmation saying like, I am enough, I am strong, like I'm not addicted to anything, things like that. Third step, I went over the first, which is keeping your word as a man. Second is affirmations. And third, nah, second to last step, third, reading scriptures of self-worth. Now this is, you can look this up on the internet, so it's easier. Or you can use the Bible, go to like the last pages, and then there's like a whole two dedicated pages to, if you have a specific problem, like you have guilt, it gives you like all the scriptures of self-worth. It gives you all the scriptures you need to read to, comfort yourself, or read about, or get knowledge. And that's where you're gonna find what God sees in you. He sees the best in you. He sees what what He created you to do. A man of value. Okay, we got to start seeing our value as a man, because we are being poisoned by the media that men are, too rough or too brash, or we don't need men or whatnot. But when you think about it, who built this house that I'm just sitting in right now? Who built that car back there? Who came up with that ideas? Who, with the intellect, who was brave enough to conquer that land that everybody else was scared of? And was it men? No, I don't care what you say. It was men, okay? Even from back then in the ages, it was men. Fourth to final step is to find friends or brothers that see the best in you. You may not see it in yourself, but there's always that specific type of friend that's always going to see the greatness in you. That's just waiting to, excel out of your body, or through your fruits. And that, my brother, these steps that you just saw, if you do them daily, weekly, or just start with something, like, I'm going to restate them so you can, put them in your head. So first one is keeping your word as a man. Really important. Daily affirmations, reading scriptures about self-worth, and find friends that see the best in you. Now, my brothers, that is all you need to gain that self-worth and self-respect that you need for yourself. And remember, stay strong, brothers.